very familiar to all of us. Wales' most capped hooker. I'm sure we spent many an hour watching him either in the flesh or screaming at the television over the last few years. So we're very glad. Diolch yn fawr iawn Garin am ddod. Ac i'r un o chi sydd ddim yn nabod Gavin, oedd Gavin yn gweithio yn Coleg y Bala am 5 mlynedd, chydig o flynyddoedd yn ôl, cyn symud lawr i Rhydaman. A dyna ble mae'n byw rwan gyda'i his lovely wife, ble mae'n cubiad, ble mae Gwenno heno, dwi'n gwybod, mae'n cubiad lawr fanna. A mae Gavin rwan yn weithio fel plismon yn ardal Abertawe. So na'n dal chi fyny dim mwy, a'i basio chi drosodd i Gavin ac i Garin.
Noswaith dda, noswaith dda. Croeso cynnes i Canolfan Hamlen y Bala. I just want to clear up one thing to start. First of all, for those of you who may be thinking, it's an evening of my glory days playing for Bala Seconds. It's not. Obviously, Garin is the star here. First of all, I just want to ask you a couple of things. Some people here may recognise you from your glory days, the Tiddlywinks Championship of the 70s, but you've also had another career. I don't know if you just want to say a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and obviously what you've been doing the majority of your life, really.
Well, first of all, I'm blessed bod yma yn Bala heno, so it's what was the question again? I'm sorry. They speak very quickly, these South Cross North Williams.
Yeah, that's me. Just a little bit, what have you been doing, really? Who you are, for those who possibly don't know who you are.
I know there's probably a lot of youngsters thinking, who's this portly gentleman on the stage? No, really, just basically, I was very blessed really to be being able to play rugby for quite a considerable number of years, culminating in fortunately enough representing my country, playing for Swansea for 12-13 years, and of late really been very blessed to have had an opportunity to work on Radio Wales and occasionally on television, BBC television. Also, recently, along with my sort of main employment, which is working with the Ospreys Academy and the youngsters down in the Ospreys region, occasionally or quite regularly at periods of the year, speaking at different functions, different rugby clubs, different organisations, speaking mainly at dinner functions, etc. So quite a busy life, but the priorities really, especially the last 2 years, is trying to develop my Christian life, and I keep moving, and I trust that I'll keep moving at a pace that's good in the near future.
Excellent. Well, I'm informed you come from a place called Ynysybwl.
Yes, Ynysybwl.
Ynysybwl.
Yeah. For you North Walians, now Ynysybwl is a large city about 20 miles north of the village of Cardiff. Yes, Ynysybwl. Lived there for 42 years tomorrow, so I'm really straight away. So,
that alludes to perhaps tomorrow is a special day.
No, birthday tomorrow. So
Garin's birthday tomorrow.
Yeah, so yeah, lived in Ynysybwl for 42 years. Apart from periods where I lived in New Zealand for six and a half months, and time spent travelling with Wales really. Apart from that, I've always lived in the same village that I was born in, really.
So, as a young lad growing up in Ynysybwl, I believe you were a minor at one point as well?
Yeah. I worked in the colliery because that was the norm then to work in industry, and that was probably where most sort of non-academic boys sort of pitched their sights on really to to work in that environment. It was, like I say, everybody at the time thought that, oh, you know, that's security, that's what I'm looking for, you know, that'll be great for life, and you know, that was the standards really that you would take, or that you wanted to aspire to. But you know, it was great. It was, you know, not decrying anything from that. It was fantastic, an opportunity to bring an element of discipline into my life at that sort of period where there's a lot of youngsters here tonight, which probably I needed, you know, to conform to a discipline that would make me develop as a person.
So what led you then from, as a boy playing rugby in London to a full-time career in rugby?
Yeah. Well, Gav, it's like I said, I worked and played in the village. You know, like I said, I suppose even looking back to the 80s, Wales and the world was at a slower pace than what it probably is now. So, you know, I think that I always loved rugby from a sort of from the age of 7 really, and you know, in sort of mainly throughout my school days, except for a few blips that I always carried a passion for rugby. But I enjoyed playing for Ex-Welsh youth and working and, you know, doing the things that you normally did in Welsh village life. But there came a point that I really loved what I was doing, although, you know, it wasn't the sort of the healthiest or the safest job. I really loved what, you know, my life was about at the time, working in the colliery and, you know, working with some men, some sort of tough, hard, disciplined men, you know, a variety of people, and it was sort of enlightening me really as a young man. But there came a time, as we know, there was a lot of closures with industry, and back in 1988 I had to make a decision to either carry on and pursue working in industry, or there was an opportunity came along with a cousin and a friend of mine to go to New Zealand to play rugby, and I thought, well, you know, it was either take redundancy and throw my lot into rugby, because rugby was a big sort of, you know, what if scenario at the time, because rugby wasn't professional, and the best that I could have aimed for at the time in the current situation, in that situation, was maybe get a job out of it, and, you know, play for Wales, which was, you know, every Welshman's ultimate goal. So I went off to New Zealand, and things started to really take off there, because, you know, New Zealand had previously won the World Cup the year before, and it was the place to go and serve a rugby apprenticeship. So I went out there and gave it all I had, and came back really, and my rugby career started to spiral upwards.